All right, EDC, February 26th. We have a quorum. I have no minutes to approve, but we had one open spot, and Dan LaCure, they say he is gonna resign, so we now have two open spots. And so happens that we have two people who wanna join. So we need a motion for Sean Serrell and Scott Pennington to become members. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
You get to go to
That's
the
easy.
table now.
Yeah.
Alright, watch out.
We're just wrapping up.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
Yeah, so we'll,
Okay, then you move right up to the table.
yeah.
Alright, don't waste any time, you're not shy, I love this.
This is good, because, you know, we still needed, what, 6 people out of 11?
Someone using this one?
Dan has been traveling, so it's tough to
He
get.
travels a lot, he does a lot of global travel.
Yeah.
He's in a global, a lot of tech companies.
Yeah, yeah. So this
He
is
goes to
good.
China.
New blood.
Yeah. So the new appointments still need to be
Yeah,
also appointed by board of
Yeah,
selectmen. I just
yeah,
want to make that
yeah.
clear.
Yeah, I'll make sure that it's on the next agenda.
Sure.
But
Should we hang tight to come up here, is it alright?
No. We don't want you going anywhere, go
Yeah.
on.
Eric and I have a huge list for both of you. don't we? Huge, we were up all night working on it.
Makes sense.
So this should be a pretty quick meeting. I just want to, I guess the main thing is, we need to go over the breakfast, probably is the main item. So we got Dean Tran, and he said that he can come April 20th,
Correct.
which is not good for you, right? Unfortunately.
Potentially, yeah, I probably will be out, but
Yeah.
you'll be seeing.
So that's good. So we're gonna lock in on that, so he's good for Friday morning.
He's good for Friday morning from 7:30 till whenever he does his little spiel. So what I'll do next is I'll now reach out to Kate Hogan's office and see if she's available to do, be a guest speaker as well.
Yeah, that'd be great if we
So
get
that's
both
both
of them.
representatives, yeah.
And Bruce said that well, I didn't give him April 20th as a date, but he should be fine, I think. Yeah, yeah,
We're doing the sliders?
I think we'll do it at Slater's.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, you know,
It's
I,
so comfortable
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I really like it.
And,
I really love
and
what they
he-
did with the outside space.
and he's
I mean,
catered the
really
last-
just turned it up, you know what I mean?
He's catered the last 2 or 3 years anyway, and done a great job, so,
Yeah, this will make his life easier.
yeah. So for the new guys, we have this like annual breakfast where we have, we invite all the businesses in town and even regionally for anybody that's interested in Bolton. And then we have, last year we had what's his name from the Mass Office of Business Development?
Peter Milano.
Yeah, Peter Milano and Paul Matthews from 495 Partnership. And just trying to connect Bolton to the businesses and just trying to create a welcoming atmosphere, because in the past it's been, businesses had a negative opinion of the town, that they even were wanted, so this is a way to make them feel wanted. And Don Lowe usually goes, and a selectman or two, and just trying to get, if any businesses have any questions, or if any, we have these speakers, if they can share any knowledge to businesses in town. It works out pretty well. Like last year we had who's the highway department of transportation guy who was there? Lori?
Barry,
Yeah.
Barry Lorian was there.
Yeah, he was there, so
He did a good job last
he
year.
was able to talk to the he was able to talk to the CEO, Peter Fontaine of Paragon. So it seems it's been really good. It gets good reviews or whatever from people, so we'll keep it up. So I think we'll do Slater's April 20th. So I guess we'll create a flyer or something.
Are we gonna send out mailers, or?
No, I typically just send out an email.
Can we make sure that the pool guy, what's it called, the pool business
Yeah,
manager,
sure.
they're on the list? It'd be great to meet him also. I mean, I think, even though he's not officially here, he's now an owner of the property.
Sure,
Yeah.
I can do that.
What's it? Environmental pools.
So this-
It's an odd pool name, where it's like, when you think of a pool company, you don't think of the word environmental. You feel like Johnson Pools. Or,
We've always invited Jennifer Flanagan and Kate Hogan, and I don't know if it's because it's later in the year and, you know, they said that it was budget season or something. It just never seemed to work out, so it'd be cool to have a state rep there, and hopefully that drives more attendance. I think typically we're around 40-ish,
yeah,
But-
last year was a pretty good turnout.
but I'm guessing that people would be somewhat interested in meeting a state rep. At least I am. I don't know if other people are. Anything else with that?
I don't think so. Yeah, we'll create the agenda and the flyer, I'll get it out, probably via email to all the businesses within the next, couple of weeks. We'll be good to go.
Do you keep a running list of like who's accepted, and then is the goal to try and bring specifically like new businesses that might be new to the area that may not, they might just get a flyer and email and not really
Yeah.
think much of it? Like, do you actually
So we invite,
contact them too?
yeah, we invite all the businesses personally in town,
Mhm.
and then I think we kind of, didn't we advertise through like Neshoba Chamber of Commerce?
Well, that's the other thing we should probably talk about. So Melissa, I'm blanking on her last name, from the Chamber of Commerce, usually she does it in coordination with us.
Yep.
So I don't know, do we want to do that again this year? I think she had less involvement last year. I
Yeah.
think typically we were having her do the RSVP,
Right.
but last year I think I ended up just doing it.
Yeah,
It was just a little bit easier.
I think it's good to get some regional people, so maybe we should at least email them, and, because I think wasn't like the Johnny Appleseed,
Yeah, they were there last year, yeah, that was great. I'll invite them again.
yeah,
And I don't know if you want Melissa to say a few words, it's always nice to
about, yeah,
have a few people speak.
the chamber, yeah.
And the other thing too, last year you had Don sort of do an opening remark. I don't know if you want
Yeah, yeah.
Don to do that
Yeah,
again.
definitely, I definitely want Don as involved as we can get him. Yeah, so I think that's it with that. EDC website, nothing's really happening. But I got the name of the person from 3 Media Web that will train us. I guess I know it'll be me, you, and
Larissa.
Larissa.
She hasn't been around a while now.
No, she's traveling, I guess, a
Okay.
lot too. All these people in their jobs.
Yeah, what is with that?
Yeah,
What is it with that?
I'm just like an engineer lab front, so I'm usually, not a customer-oriented person. I just hide in my hole and design stuff, so I have a little bit more flexibility, allowing me to run around doing all this town stuff. What was I gonna say? Oh, when is good for you? Like she can do it online, so
I
is it
can
during
do-
the day or in the evening better?
I can do evening or day. I can carve out time during the day at work.
Yeah,
Just
so
go to
maybe
the
I can-
conference room.
I can hide in a conference
Yeah,
room too.
yeah.
So I prefer to do it in the day because at night it's either kids or house chores.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
I don't have
yeah.
much time in the evening.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, your kids are younger than mine, so
yeah.
mine are 16 and 17. They're like on cruise control at this point. It's easy. They're getting easier.
They don't want you around.
No, not really anymore. I used to be cool. Not really cool anymore.
So I prefer to do it during the day too.
Okay.
So I'll try to,
See if that works for the rest of the time.
yeah,
May
maybe
not,
tougher for
yeah.
her.
Or if not early evening,
Yeah, or even if we do it, we can probably,
teach her.
Teach her.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I have access. I'm managing my piece of my company's website, which is WordPress on my own.
oh, so you have.
I already have some.
Pretty much you just need a user password and.
And you go around and it's kind of funny. It just recently happened like about 5 months ago. So
So I want to
playing
add,
around with
so
it myself.
there's no like news tab, but I want to add like a news tab and start putting the stories on there that we write and then, linking them to Facebook.
Yeah.
Because then we could actually drive traffic to the website.
Right.
Whereas I look at the analytics and there's no reason for people to go there right now. So
Right. Yeah.
there'll be a way for people to, drive people there.
Right.
Which will be good.
Right.
So we need to get that going. And we keep saying that.
I know.
We'll do it this.
I'm
before
kind of
the next
exhausted by it, but no, I'll do it. Yeah, we gotta do it. Yeah. I think it's also important that we get the sort of like the blog area really.
Yeah,
That's
the big
important-
thing.
That's the big thing. I
Like,
think that we really need to drive.
content that updates, that gives their people a reason to go there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
becoming like a business news source.
Right.
Yeah. Which I guess kind of leads into like, Scott and Sean. I mean, Amy's kind of been she's working on some stories. She's talked to Ray Grenier from
Oh, yeah, right.
Bolton Capital
Yeah.
Group, so she's working on that story, and she's kind of been doing new businesses, but if there's ever anything, I don't know if you're writers or not, or, I mean, you don't have
I have
to.
to write it.
Huh?
It's a little bit different with the technical like
Yeah.
writing, but it's
But,
Are you
um,
a tech writer?
well, I'm an engineer, so
Okay.
it has to be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But just like, you know, when there's new businesses, or if you're like, you wanna do something, I have tons of ideas for potential stories, you know?
He does.
I could definitely give you one to do. I don't have always time to do them, so it's been good that Amy's been actually,
Amy's been very active with it.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
and if anybody, you know, if anybody wants to do anything with that, that's fine, you know?
How
I've
how
done one
often are the
article.
stories happening like that?
Well, so you can, if you.
I wonder if it's almost like if you make it, start small. It could be
Yeah.
monthly or weekly or something.
Yeah.
It could be like.
Well, I
one
think
story.
weekly is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be.
That's a big commitment, but I think I mean, I think one a month would be ideal.
Yeah,
I
that would
think
be perfect.
But I think we probably average around, what, at least 8 to 9 stories a year anyway? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, something like that, it depends, well,
Then it
it's-
becomes like almost like if you're thinking a newsletter or something.
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
becomes that. It's like what's the
right, so on,
February, March flavor?
yeah, no, yeah, we always talk about that, but schedules get in the way of it.
And
but-
some people enjoy writing and some people don't.
Yeah,
I write, but I'm not a fan of writing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and
Um,
I wrote an article, I thought I did well, but.
Yeah, whenever there's a
I'd rather
new-
do other things.
yeah, whenever there's a new, business,
Business.
we try to jump on and introduce them. So I could actually point you to some, like, links of stories, like, typically we just put on Facebook. And the thing with that is it gets lost in the thread, right? It gets
Yeah.
lost in the
Because
feed.
people can post on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to get it on the website, have links to it, and then, it'd be a good, like, archive.
Right,
type
yeah.
Spot.
I agree, I
Yeah.
agree.
But like, so like either
More
it's
succinct.
a welcome to town type thing, when those type of stories, it's just like, where are you coming from, why do you wanna come to Bolton, and how do you fit in Bolton?
Mhm.
You know, if they did something special with their, structure, with the building or something like that. And then, like other more like policy or just like stories, like I don't know what Amy's, because for instance, Bolton Capital Group has been there forever, but, Amy went and talked to him and, where how he likes Bolton, like, so Bolton Capital Group's that big fancy white house and barn,
Mhm.
which, it's amazing on the inside, so maybe she's right, I don't actually know, I just, she's writing what she's writing, so, I don't know what she's, I just wanted to give attention to him, because he actually donates to town a lot.
He does, he does give a lot.
Yeah,
If you got some ideas in the backlog to share, I'd be happy to
sure.
take a stab at it and help out.
yeah, definitely.
So,
I mean, I've thought of things even from like talking to, David's farm about, like the solar panels that they have and how that helps, how that offsets their farm and stuff,
Mhm.
talk about that, and I have a bunch of them, yeah, so I can definitely give you a list
Yeah.
of stories.
Okay,
For sure.
I'll reach back out to you.
Yeah.
Great.
Eric would like that a lot.
Facebook is doing pretty good as usual. I mean, we have, I think, like 450 people, so just the standard. I try to share business posts, like Bolton Bean, whenever I see them, and it usually gets a couple hundred views. But if it's ever like a story that, even you get a couple of shares, or sometimes the item shares them, it could be like 3,000 views, which is,
Bolton Bean has done well here in town. I have to admit, whenever I go in there, it's packed.
yeah.
And I think it's great. That kind of gives you an indication that we could use more things like that in town,
Yeah, we actually had, we had,
I'm very happy for them because it looks like it's thriving.
yeah, we had a teacher.
It really is.
We had a
It
teacher
really is.
conference at Florence Sawyer, and we went to the Bolton Bean quick for something to eat, and it was like around the high school gets out, and all of a sudden, like, they just started loading in. So like all the high school kids are going there. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a hangout spot, which is it's
Oh
great
yeah,
for
well,
them.
they have great seating, it's really
Yeah.
comfortable in there,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see why,
Yeah.
yeah. As long as they're buying something.
Yeah, not just loitering.
I'm just loitering.
Yeah. No, it's,
The food there is really good.
Yeah, yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
we bought, yeah.
well, no update on the welcome sign, is there?
Country Cupboard started, which is great.
Oh yeah, they should be done end of the month, last I
I
heard.
don't think so, but.
I don't know, I haven't
Yeah.
talked to her in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the welcome sign. is-
They're making pretty good progress.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're almost done.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Exterior wise? No, nowhere near.
They're getting close.
I saw them up on.
I saw
the roof.
Tim Hood the other day.
Okay.
And he told me that they're on schedule, so.
Okay.
I heard like
Take it
about a
at
month or
face
so.
value.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing siding, and they were reconfiguring the inside, but I don't think it was like a major construction.
Yeah, it's just, they're completely re-siding the building, they put a new roof on, they had to reconfigure the roof line.
Yeah.
New windows have not gone in yet, there's a lot still on. In the interior on country covers, it's still gutted, so,
Yeah.
it was an aggressive timeline.
But it's not like they have to build walls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's all the inspections that go along with that though, that will drag out the process also
Yeah.
potentially, if they're not on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome sign, or anywhere new with the second sign, or,
Wasn't Chris looking into that? I'm not sure.
no, maybe, yeah.
I think he was gonna contact the sign company. I had sent him
Oh.
the contact
Yeah,
information.
he's gonna contact
And
you for
landscapers,
landscaping and all
yeah.
that
So I don't
stuff.
know where he is with that.
Yeah, yeah. But what about the second sign? What are we gonna do with that?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna reach out to DPW. I haven't done that yet, so
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know the welcome sign we have, the C, yeah, we did that pretty much.
It'd be nice to clean up that section when we get off the highway.
Yeah.
At that one particular spot.
Because you-
yeah,
you
It's an
know-
eyesore with
Yeah, it's
leaving
not so pretty.
signs.
So we have a sign, a second sign for the other exit.
Nice.
Not as elaborate with all the businesses because it's on state-owned land and they didn't want us marketing all kinds of business on their land. But everybody has their personal sign anyway.
Yeah, Islators is there, yeah.
Um,
The Spring Golf Course is like, I think, has sign there.
So it's just to clean it up and make it look nice as you come in versus all these random signs. And so Chris at last meeting mentioned that, try to get some landscaper and market for them. I was talking to somebody at my work, she lives in Tewksbury, and they have like, I mentioned this before here, they have a beautification
Yeah,
committee.
you mentioned that before, yeah.
And she had some pretty interesting ideas. I don't know if it's, I mean, I don't want us to be a beautification committee, but I don't know if we should advocate for one. But some things they do is they do adopt an island. So some of like,
Yeah,
so some
okay.
of those like, do you know where? Well, in my neck of the woods is where Bear Hill Road meets Green Road. There's like that
That little island.
triangle. It's like
Yeah.
always a disaster. I could see that there's like.
We have an island on 85 that it's just really bad.
So what they do is, we talked about having this welcome sign, having a landscaper put up their sign and sponsor. So
Or
what they,
maybe we.
so what they do is they have people agree to sponsor islands for like a year or 2 years or 3 years, and they maintain it, and then they're allowed to put like a sign, either a sign from a business saying, this is our island, and they maintain it.
Sponsored by.
Yeah, and
I think.
the town's DPW has like piles of mulch, so people can go grab it and, maintain it and stuff.
I just think from a consistency standpoint, they should all be very similar signs, like adopted by, and then the name.
Well, yeah, it's-
And we don't need to be spending tons of
So
money
that's what
on a
they do.
sign like that, but
So-
we could probably find a signage company here in town that could do it very inexpensively.
Right, so,
Is that
yeah, we don't need
right?
that damn thumb,
No.
Yeah, I say that and saying that Chris's idea and stuff is great for that welcome sign, but, like, so, we were talking about that, so what else is that?
That's actually a really good, I mean, there's probably a bunch of these all over the place.
Because there is a lot of places that look pretty ragged in town.
Yeah.
And even like, getting, the gardening club into the town common and stuff, which I think actually that might be happening, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway,
But one of the things when you remember with the whole adopted island program, there isn't like irrigation systems there either. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to,
yeah.
you need
Yeah,
to,
no, that's
find a lot of plantings that are actually going to stay there,
that are,
that are drought tolerant
The
because.
challenge too is we live in New England, so when you
Yeah.
have snow, inevitably things
Yeah,
get damaged.
exactly.
But even just like, keeping it
Tidy. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a way you want to get businesses involved in the town or something, like free marketing, but I don't know. That's like way off course, I guess.
It's not.
Current business news, we talked about country covered. Do we know where the environmental pools are?
No, where
I
they
gotta
at?
reach out to them. They have to go before planning board before they can actually operate.
But they're like,
Did they submit any plans for the building? So they're not
Not
even
yet.
there yet.
No, they.
Are they like a year out, you think, before officially?
I don't know, they haven't contacted me and,
yeah.
I don't know, and maybe it's been a year now.
Okay.
So I'll probably reach back out to them to make sure
Okay.
that they remember that they
Yeah.
actually need to get a special permit,
So
so.
Colonial
And
Candies.
and before they do any sort of exterior work, they need to submit a plan though, okay,
Correct.
all right,
Yeah,
that's
they
what I
need to go
thought.
through the permit
Okay,
process.
all right.
Yeah.
So Colonial Candies, I know that the Realtor came before us, but then they asked us to take the story off social media. Like, so what is going on with that? Are they for sale? I don't know. I mean, it sounds
I'm
like
not sure.
they're not sure what they wanted to do.
I
Yeah.
think it's for sale, but how they're selling it, I don't know
Yeah.
if they've come to an agreement.
I
Yeah.
didn't see a
How
sign or
they're doing
anything
it.
there when I went
Yeah.
around Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know if that's something you typically would have a sign.
Well, it
for
makes
a business
sense,
sale,
right?
but I would think.
I think
Maybe they're nervous that it's gonna drive traffic away potentially.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they thought because the realtor asked me to post a story and I did. And then, well, I pretty much just posted his brochure and it wasn't. I shared his brochure.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of traffic and people like, oh no, you know, like, and so like, maybe you are right. Maybe, you know, they're still trying to run their business and they're trying to sell the land on the down low or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be hard to sell a business on the down low if you're not
Yeah.
not
Well, they have
advertising.
employees, which is
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So I took it down. I don't know, I took it down. They asked me to, so I just did what the realtor told me to. So,
I'm sure they knew that he was coming anyway, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, it's all right.
Yeah.
It happens.
yeah. And then, so did Dagnall's building, did that building sell? Or-
I
That's
doubt
what he
it.
was saying.
Yeah, no, I doubt that.
Best he said is it was kind of like they were going through due diligence or something.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding was the only way that they were interested in purchasing that particular building is if they could do a drive-through. And that's sort of
Oh, okay.
that's a non-stopper, or
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
whatever, that's sort of a stopper, so.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
drive-through, for like what, a
Yeah.
coffee shop?
That's
Okay.
ideally, they wanted to do a Dunkin' Donuts with a drive-through, and I said, I just
Ah.
don't see that happening.
Yeah.
You'd have to get that past your town meeting. And
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a, what's a word we use when it comes, a chain store moves into town, if it's already, like, for example, over
Oh,
country cover.
pre-existing non-conforming?
No, it's the.
Oh, accessory?
Accessory,
Yeah.
accessory, so that would never happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it couldn't be a standalone business.
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts couldn't be.
Yeah.
Unless they were willing to use, so if they were going to like serve with like mugs and plates and kind of be more of like a sit-down type restaurant, which actually at our very first business meeting, a representative of Dunkin' Donuts was there and I was talking to him and he said that they do have, some towns have like a no fast food type thing and they do have they call it a restaurant. They do have restaurants that have like a sit down,
I mean, most Dunkin' Donuts do a sit-down area.
but like just like what they serve on like plates and
Oh, okay.
you know they try to make it more like I don't know upscale level. I don't know, just trying to get through whatever.
Right.
Upscale like a Denny's.
Yeah, yeah, on the like Denny's level.
It's a great 1 a.m. breakfast place. Or 2.
Middle of the night.
Yeah.
I did hear from, I forgot to tell you this, Eric, I did hear from Eileen Griffin Wright, I think it was last week. There is a potential office business that will be going into 16, 7, 18 Main Street, the Cracker Barrel
Oh.
building.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's good news. I don't know who it is
Hmm.
yet. Once the sort of it's
So it'll be
finalized,
like
she'll
an
send me all
office?
the information.
Like
but
another realtor? Or?
I don't know. She just said it was for office.
So not
for
like a
office
retail?
space. Yeah. So that's really
That's good.
good. So that he's filling the.
Yeah.
Is it rental or sale? Do you know? Just
That's a good
curious.
question. I don't know. She didn't specify which.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't know if we want to talk about this here, but well, so you talked to Cindy,
Okay.
or Cindy, what was her name?
No, I spoke to
Kathy Adams.
Kathy Adams,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, I just think it's Cindy. Cindy, who maybe mixed up my names. So Kathy Adams, and you said that she was interested in talking.
Yeah, very interested, and she was happy that the town was looking to increase lot coverage and
Yeah.
all of that, so, she said at any time they'd be willing to sit down with us and talk about, future plans for the property and,
Yeah,
what they've done in the past and what they could do in the future, and hopefully change her mindset on that Bolton is not as, I want to portray to her that Bolton is a more business-friendly place than it used to be, because
Yeah.
I think she still has that in her head, so.
Yeah, so in 2012, so the Keene property for at
Like,
least.
this is the, whatever,
Yeah.
the highway that I brought up.
It's where 495 meets 117.
It's a very large parcel.
Yeah, so this is
40
partial,
acres.
so I guess it'd be the southwest
Well,
corner of
it's
that.
acres. Yeah, I'm not sure of the total acreage when you add them all together.
Yeah.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, there's-
parcels.
Yeah. In 2012, they came before town meeting wanting to, I think they needed to use the residential land too to get the coverage. Is that what
I'm
they
not
wanted to do?
sure.
Oh, you weren't here.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Yeah, so they wanted the residential to be zoned as land as well, so they wanted to put in pretty much
It
a
was a market basket.
market basket and like a CVS, I think, is what they wanted to do. And the town voted it down. So they've been quiet since then. I don't know if Mike could add anything, but,
No, that's accurate.
yeah.
The mother passed away since then.
Yeah.
So
You say last year, the
driving
last year's
force
ordinance,
having 6
yeah.
owners instead of principally one.
Um,
So that's the biggest change.
So what we don't want them to do is become so disillusioned that some 40B developer comes in and then we lose that property, because that's like,
It's not just that though. I think they do, and I think we need to help them understand that we are pro-business, but work with us more closely on trying to finding what that business really is.
yeah.
Instead of going through all this rigmarole and trying to bring in a gas station, that's probably gonna get, people aren't gonna be up and
Right,
down about
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Did I
It
say
needs to be
there were
just-
6 owners?
It just
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
more thoughtful.
Trying to get consensus.
Just
by
more
6
thoughtful,
people.
and I think if we come, it needs to be sort of, if we work jointly with them, I think it'd be it would be a win-win.
Yeah, so I think Eric was asking if we should wait till town meeting or we should meet before. I mean, I wouldn't mind meeting before and saying this is, just as a, introduction, and say this is what we're working on, versus waiting. I mean, I guess you could leave it up to her and say if they want to meet before or after and see what the landscape is, but
I don't think that she cares one way or the other.
I wouldn't mind meeting before, I just,
Getting a sense.
I don't know
of
if
it.
anything's imminent in their plans. It did sound great
I
for
don't
me.
think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
but just to say that this
And she
is,
did mention 40B, so
Yeah, I know.
I think that's on the table for sure.
yeah, so I'd like to talk to them as soon as possible. Oh, please don't do that. Because I do think, really in 5 years, the climate of town has shifted a lot.
It has.
And I think people have come to a realization that we do need some business.
Yeah, I
More
think-
business, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Like 626 is a very good example of what we need more of.
Well, so, but in that one area, that's not gonna be a 626 type business, that's gonna be some bigger thing, whether it's, I think, 495, and I think in the email that they said that, 495 seems saturated now between
It does.
between the Hudson
Yeah.
Plaza, you got
Yeah.
the Littleton Plaza,
Yeah.
you have like that, new complex, the Apex. I
Yeah.
mean, so I don't
We're
know,
one of the Apex, I think this Friday for a birthday.
I mean, I keep on thinking how much more could they build, but then they keep building more.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've been to the Apex, it is freaking packed.
We're gonna do that this Friday.
Like between all
Saturday.
the restaurants are packed, all that whole entertainment facility is packed. I mean, they're doing the great, it seems, I don't know where, I always say
I
like,
think this area is right for a really huge, like the Lifetime, those Life Fitness gyms. Because we don't really have any nice gyms around here, and if we get one of those really nice ones,
They're
with-
massive though.
They're massive. They just
I don't
put one
think
near
we
our
could
office
support
park.
that. Yeah, I don't think
it's
we could support it.
huge.
Oh, yeah, there's one in Natick.
Yeah, they just put a new one over
Yeah.
in Burlington, over by the mall. It's like 4 floors. It's
Crazy expensive.
yeah.
so I'm not sure, I'm not sure what could go there. I know that who was the before, oh, this is even before your time, Chris, one of the original, chairman of the EDC reached out to like a Trader Joe's, but they said they weren't really interested in this area. But a store like that, because you have
Chris Nelson did?
Chris Nelson, yeah. Yeah, he reached out to them and they said, well, I don't know about the demographic. I don't know if it's a populated enough area,
It's not dense
But-
enough.
but,
A lot of traffic out of
It is. Yeah.
but there's not, I mean, you got a Market Basket in Hudson, Market Basket in Littleton, you got your Shaw's in Clinton, I guess you have Roach Brothers in Acton, but it seems to me like a Trader Joe's would do really well. And whenever you talk to anybody, that's what they want. So I don't know, like something like that, like a smaller, You're not gonna end up with like a 626, but you're gonna, you know, you need something of
Like
in
a
that
big-
land.
like an anchor.
Yeah,
Like a big
you
anchor.
need an anchor.
How much land do they have?
I wanna, well, there's like 5 or 6 parcels.
Some 20 something acres.
Yeah, something like that, but then they have like landlocked residential behind it. So the mixed use overlay includes that residential, so you could do something where you could have some housing.
And where's the frontage?
It's 117
But where?
from 495 to,
Yes, you
Cover
cover
it's
it.
all the way to 85 really.
Yeah, behind the
Yeah.
gas
Yeah,
station.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes along there, then it cuts over the country covered and the
Yeah.
gas station in 470 and then goes back. And I think in the plan in 2012 was that they agreed, I don't know if because that failed, if this isn't the case, but the corner of 85, they agreed to keep residential to buffer
Mhm.
business from that area.
So where would the access be from 117?
Yeah.
Pretty much
Yeah.
right
Curb
when
cut
you
there
come up.
now.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I think, well, whoever came in there, if it was a big development, they would probably, as you come off the highway, you'd want to drive straight into it.
Yeah, that would make.
That's
the
not
most
where the
sense.
curb cut is.
No, but I assume that's,
I
would be.
mean, they put the curb cut in, so they got the permit, they
Yeah.
got the permit for a curb cut, so they put it in, but.
But I'm just saying, that whole.
Oh, I
area-
agree, ideally, they'd want it straight across.
And I think, if anything, I think we need to make sure they get signage up. I mean, I think having commercial signage on that property would be great too.
Well,
It'd actually,
but-
it'd actually drive more traffic to it, and they could say how many acres are there, commercial zone, and
Yeah,
then people would know it's right off
It's not, for- it's,
495.
well, it's not for sale, I mean, they're not
No.
looking to develop it, I guess,
No.
They've owned the property a long time.
Are they looking to sell it or develop it themselves? I always get the impression from
Did
everyone.
I tell you there were 6 family members?
Yeah, okay, okay.
So it's,
So the answer is yes.
Both.
You're right.
Depends upon which one you talk to.
Okay.
is there anything else you could add about that land?
Probably not. I do know a little bit more, but I would feel like I was.
Got it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
fine.
think Kathy Adams should come in and speak for herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, I
Yeah.
agree.
I think that's.
I don't want to be
more
speaking for her or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it
understand
that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something
No, no,
like
okay.
that.
Well, yeah, if she would come in to the EDC, that'd be
I
great.
can ask her to come in. She'd
Yeah.
be more than happy to.
Yeah, that'd be
She's
great, just because there's definitely enthusiasm for the land.
I think they
But-
just need
but
some
also-
additional visibility.
But also, I would love to have,
Just like, if they're gonna sell it, just put a sign there.
actually, you know, we should schedule this before now that I'm thinking, because I'd like Dawn and you, and, I don't know, maybe Stan, or, I don't know, like a contingent of 3 or 4 people to like, meet with them privately, and just, so it doesn't have to be in a public forum, so she could speak more freely and stuff as well, so it'd be great to have her come in,
Mhm.
just to share with people in town, any update, but also I'd like to set up, kind of like a meeting, off public meeting, And Dawn definitely, and you, being the planner and the administrator would be, I think, the top 2 people that should be there. I don't know, I guess Dawn represents the selectmen, so definitely you two.
I think there should be a representative from the EDC there as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I would
You
like
guys
to
are driving
go.
I'd like to
so-
go too.
Yeah, so a couple people from the EDC, maybe Stan, or whoever from the selectmen, if somebody from the selectmen wanna go. But I think that's probably good. You don't wanna like overwhelm it either with like
Right.
20 people, but like, 5 or 6 people or something.
I know Kathy well. 20 people are not gonna overwhelm her. But, I mean, and she'll be candid. I mean.
Yeah.
And so will we, yeah. yeah.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like she is disillusioned.
Wow.
So it would be like nice to hear her concerns and especially,
I would not say she's disillusioned with the town of Bolton. That would be, I think, a little
Okay.
unfair. I
Okay.
think that she has the challenge. There's 6 people that now own this property.
okay,
So I think that in and of itself is probably the biggest challenge.
okay.
Because I think that the family's owned it for 60 years. Some would like to maintain ownership, while others would like to
Cash in.
liquidate the,
Yeah.
right, cash. And,
So do we know that the global thing is completely fallen through? Is that like,
That was a
or
guess.
is that something we can't talk about?
I'm not familiar with those details, so I can't tell you. That I don't know anything
I
about.
don't know for certain.
Sounded like, the last thing that I heard was that it was just too much land development, and too much blasting and stuff for just a gas station. You know, if it was like a whole development, it would make sense. But I don't know who said that. I don't know if it was you, but that's stuck in my head.
It was me, yeah. I had spoken to Global Partners.
It sounded like it was just gonna be a lot, they had to go back to the drawing board or something like that, they said, because
Yeah.
it's just too much development for just one gas station. Which I don't think anybody in town was very excited about a truck stop.
No.
I think a gas station is
Yeah, I can
probably
see that.
inevitable,
Yeah, a gas station
to
is
be honest
inevitable,
with you.
but
I
not
know
like
it's
a
not
truck
what people
stop.
want,
Yeah.
but it's,
Yeah.
Well, we already have one.
But if
there's
it's-
a need on 117. and-
Yeah, if it's part of an overall development, I think that'd be okay, but if it
Yeah.
was just a gas station, you know, I want something else besides that.
No, I agree. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
every developer that ever comes through my office,
Yeah.
that's what they're interested in doing.
And a gas
Pursuing.
station could be good, you know, if you look at like the Berlin one, you know?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
If it's well done, I think it
Right,
can be,
exactly.
The Berlin one
I've
versus,
not seen that one.
so if you go to like the Rotary in Berlin, next to the Solomon Pond Mall.
Okay.
well designed,
Okay.
looks like it fits.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at next
It's
one.
called River Bridge.
Okay,
It's over near the mall.
Yeah. So if, like that,
I'll check it out.
yeah, it's like a shingled canopy,
Yeah,
if I
okay.
remember, yeah.
Okay.
Not the exact opposite. So Global does, they're like, there, if you know, down 117 where it connects to 190, that big truck stop,
Yeah.
that's Global.
Okay.
So that's kind of what they do, which is like.
More
exact-
truck stop than.
It's like
More,
a,
yeah.
it's like a highway rest stop.
And it's like a highway
Yeah.
bus stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It even feel, it definitely feels like it's.
Yeah.
a-
Something
yeah.
off the terminal.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
great.
So that's the exact opposite of what we want. So you could do a gas station good, I think. Yeah.
So the cane, and then are you looking to meet the other, you talked about other
Yeah,
property
if we can line it
owners?
up. I mean, we don't have to do it all at once, but, you know, if we can get a few in before you leave, you know. So, top three, I guess, would be the Canes. Should we talk Office Park? Like, who are the top three, you think, land-wise?
In terms of the changes that
Potential.
were related to the changes we're making to the bylaws?
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously the cane's an important one. Bolton Office Park is probably an important one too, because it impacts them with the mixed-use village overlay district as well.
yeah,
Um,
an industrial,
And then probably, yeah, that industrial
Cobham,
property,
or that new one?
the new one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can relay the information to Cobham, but I think the
Yeah.
vacant parcels probably.
Yeah, so, you have Paragon on this side of the road, Cobham on this side of the road. And on this side of Cobham, the east side, there's an undeveloped property, which if you go on the GIS, it just says 117 Holdings or somebody. Do we have like a way to contact them?
I do, I had in file, some of the property owners, so I'll see if I assume that it hasn't changed.
I mean, I would love to see what their situation is and what they're thinking. I don't know if somebody just bought it and is sitting on it pretty much. But if we could, I know that, as a member for the planning board, I went before the selectmen and people were asking about, because we're increasing these coverages. And one thing that Jonathan Keep asked me is like, well, why are you doing this? Are businesses asking you for it? And I couldn't really answer that yes, because that's why there's another reason why I would like to talk to these businesses, because if I'm presenting that bylaw at town and either he asks me or somebody says, well, why are you doing this? And they're like, well, we talked to this person, this person, and it would really help.
You have the fuel.
It would really fuel development. So he was pretty much asking me like, so if we get this, we're gonna develop, or are you just doing it, you know? So it'd be nice to talk to him and be like, what, you know, what do you think? Is this gonna like, are you just, like, you know, talking to like Doug Story, you know, he was saying like 8%, it's just not feasible to, you know, have all this land. It's like, why am I gonna go through this for, you know, it's not really bang for your bucks.
Well, even if you just consider the industrial area, the Pad Ready Site program, that 495 Metro West sends out the emails for,
Yeah.
if you look at those requests, it's always for larger, larger buildings.
Yeah,
And we, right now, don't allow for that, so.
yeah, like
I
300,000
mean,
square
that
foot
right there
buildings.
tells us that that could be a driver for development, at least in the industrial.
Right. So, yeah, so that would be good to get their feedback, so, you know, I'm sure those questions are gonna come up. I would think. Unless the town's in a happy mood. I don't know, what else? Anything else, Erica?
think so.
I know we talked about meals tax last time, and nothing's going before town this year, from what I can see, so it's not really a super permanent, but
I kind of have an additional comment on that.
Well, I had
If you're gonna do a meals tax just for additional tax revenue, I kind of think the money should go towards something else, like bettering like the streets that maybe circle around these particular businesses, or adopt an island. Maybe the money can go towards those type of things that would actually beautify the town so it looks better, since we are charging additional.
But even on top of that,
but they're not going to use it for any of that.
I thought about it more, and I mean,
It's-
we don't need to vote on anything again. We voted how we voted last time,
Yeah.
but there's no article anyway, so.
Yeah.
Just seems like we're trying to change the view, and it's not every town around us. I don't think, I forget, there was a bunch of towns that weren't doing it right. Like Leominster doesn't do it, and,
Yeah, I mean,
Clinton doesn't do it.
it's kind of,
yeah,
some towns do, some towns don't.
yeah, right.
But some towns are using those resources
And I asked-
appropriately towards those town center areas where the businesses are most
Yeah.
concentrated.
Yeah.
We're not even doing
Yeah,
that at
right.
all. We're just gonna take
Right.
the money and use it on whatever we want, and
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah, well, but so.
Well, no, I don't know that that's correct. I think the towns are using it to go into the general fund.
Which
I don't
is
know of
why.
any specific town that is just
What they're gonna
saying.
fund, they're.
Right, that's kind of tax revenue does. It goes into a general fund
Yeah.
to pay general bills.
Yeah, but also on top of like, so I asked a couple of restaurant owners, and of course they're not gonna like it, but they said, it's not fair to me or my customers to tax them more, so I know that, Mike was saying, well, it's, and I kind of felt that way too, but, we already kind of have like a negative opinion in town, like by business, so it's like, that's just another like straw on the camel's back, so.
But see, the nice thing about it, and again, I don't care either way,
Yeah.
but I would imagine, I don't have the data on it, but the vast majority of the people aren't residents of the community.
They
Yeah.
come here.
When
yeah.
you look at Town
Right.
Hudson, for example, and the additional incremental tax that they
You know what,
get,
we're in Hudson every weekend.
it's paid by people outside of the
Yeah,
community.
no, I
It's
agree.
$120,000, $130,000
and
of
it's-
additional revenue.
Yeah,
There's
especially,
probably 2 firemen, 3 teachers,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I know.
It's
And especially-
it's important.
especially during harvest season when,
Yeah,
like, Chay's
I
is
mean-
just booked up for weeks.
And we did the math the other day, it's not a
Yeah.
$100 bill.
We gotta work on getting the pamphlet, the
Significant
pamphlets
amount of money.
changed.
But the thing
We
is,
really gotta get that done.
we have a charge, and that's to be pro-business and to help business.
Right,
And for us to champion this, for us to
Yeah.
promote the meals tax.
yeah. Well,
As a
that was my
resident,
thinking.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the optics
As the
of it. is
EDC
not good.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a new tax on
Yeah.
Bolton businesses
Right.
and their patrons.
The optics of it are very bad.
Yes.
I think.
However, the counterpoint to that is you could take some of that money and use it towards, as you suggested,
Yeah,
economic
and
development.
some of it needs to
like
be
they do in the city
earmarked.
of
If we're
Marlboro.
gonna
Yeah.
promote it, then we should get a percentage of it, and by.
And earmark it towards.
EDC.
I think you
To
need to
promote
have
those
a,
businesses.
I don't have a problem with
Or-
that. I think you have to have a broader discussion
agree.
about, you can't just simply look at it as tax, you have to look at it as an opportunity, what can you drive with that? And I think that there's a number of things you can drive with
Yeah.
that. I think that you probably drive some additional relief for the taxpayer in town. You could also possibly use it for economic development. There's a number of things you could do.
Yeah.
Business stimulus, maybe not as much as a tax.
We use the money in Marlboro significantly towards, we have a toolbox, we give storefront beautification, we give some tax relief, we give some low
Low-income loans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
interest loans.
So who would drive how the tax was leveraged? The town would then just have to vote on what percentages would go into which.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah,
part of the
it's like
budget.
this, yeah. Like Hudson just went through a phase of that.
Yeah, you just have to have.
Different story though. Hudson's already done it. They did it probably whenever you could do it, 4 or 5 years ago. They also did the business improvement district,
Which they just
which
did.
is a tax in which the property owners agreed to.
Yeah.
Because they recognize that then they could use that money to grow what's going on in downtown.
Yep.
And we're a fairly significant property owner, we own 3 buildings, so we were gonna pick up, next to Ovidia Bank, we had the second highest levy, and I'm all for it. And I don't like paying taxes.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that if you grow the pie, we all benefit.
Right.
So, just my thing, I didn't like how the conversation went last week, because I felt like we were just like, oh yeah, let's go, and it's like, I didn't feel like there was enough discussion, and then I went off and look to see what towns had it and what towns didn't, and, you know, I feel like we should have involved the business, I just didn't like the optics of it, of how the conversation went last week. And again, it's not like there's anything imminent, it's not going before the town this year, so if it does eventually, I think that the EDC should kind of be the research department in that wing, and kind of, I do feel like maybe a lot of the businesses are like, no, it's fine, it's not gonna affect us, but I think we should at least talk to them and stuff, so. You know, I just didn't like I felt bad about how the conversation went last week. Anyway, that's all I have to say with that. You brought up, so the pamphlet, so it's March or end of February.
Yeah, we gotta get that updated.
We're gonna, well, so we have to look at, what do we need to update? I don't know that there's any,
Well, there's new businesses. that we-
but is there new destination businesses that we need to add to?
An antique store is not on, was provisions, antique store. there's
So,
two right
like, what are
there.
the potential of additions? Yes, that's what I was gonna ask. So antique, so Still River.
Yeah. Wasn't there a new business that
On
opened up
retail, that's a
over,
good one.
opened up over at 626, another one? Oh, the dry cleaners.
Dry cleaner. will be
Yeah, that's not
opening
really-
shortly.
That's not a destination now, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
Oh, there's something
That's
else
two.
also about that too.
Diagnos is still here, or they're officially gone? The liquor
They're
store?
still here.
They're still here,
Okay.
okay, alright.
So Still River,
We can make sure that that's the two streets there was one street that didn't print on the map also.
environmental pools is in here, yeah.
No, they're not here yet.
Oh, and then the other is, the way it printed out the roads.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember it was like black and, but that's something I'll have to talk to the printer.
Yeah.
Printer, road, color, road. So actually, I mean, we need to,
Get that done now.
if we're gonna have Minuteman do that.
Well, it's
Just a couple of small things.
Yeah, send me over the final copy that you have from last year, and I'll
Yeah,
actually
that's
reach out
what I
to
was-
Maria over
yeah.
at Minuteman, and I'll get working on it.
So what else besides Still River? That should definitely go there.
Oh, for sure, it
Yeah.
should. I'm trying to think, there's gotta be, what about Bababoo? Is that official business now?
No, but I have something to add about that. So
Okay.
they have, so I know that originally I was talking about like a coupon insert, but I
Yeah.
think you talked to Bolton Bean
Mhm.
and they didn't really think, that like
They
the
don't need
coupon
it.
thing, and like,
Yeah.
I think kinda Bruce thought the same thing, or like, I don't know, but, so, as an insert though, I think we talked about like, as another advertising tool, whereas you, like, say for instance, environmental pools is coming, if they had like a picture, you know, a picture of one of their things, kind of like, yeah, like not like a walk-up retail type business, but more of just like environmental pools. But then the other thing is, Bubba Cool Arts is having September 14th through 17th, they're trying to start art,
Open studios.
an open studios art thing.
Okay.
So I shared that, and I shared my idea that, you know, so we put this insert in, so we're gonna be handing all these out in like August, September. So and if there's an insert that says, you know, Bolton, open studio, and have like a list of the studios that are gonna be open, kind of like a reason, so people are gonna get this brochure at Neshoba, and be like, oh, this is cool, let's come back next weekend and go check out all these farms. So not a coupon for Bolton Bean for $1 off a sandwich, but a reason to come to town.
Like a schedule of
A
events.
schedule.
if
Yeah,
you
like an
can,
event, yeah.
Like the fall or.
Attractions, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
alright.
That's actually a good idea.
I know Hudson had, we went last, I don't know when it was in the winter, when they had some like business, like, I don't know, organization, like kind of schedule where all the businesses had like open door policies and you come in and it was maybe 7 o'clock or so at night, but they all had like, could have been snacks or just like
Yeah.
welcoming, but I
Yeah.
actually really liked it. I mean, it was
Yes.
I know there are a lot of
So
media,
one,
but it was
you know,
kind
one side of the
intense.
insert is this like event, you know, about, and the other side is, I don't know, some, I don't know. Yeah. I say environmental pools because I think that type of business is kind of what I'm thinking, more of like this big project
Right.
type business, you know, and it's kind of like free advertising for them, and so we could use the insert that way. Unfortunately, I have to get, it could be simple, you know, it could just be something that we
I
can,
don't think it's gonna be that
I
complicated.
mean, you said-
It's not
I
gonna be
mean,
huge in size.
I was able in paint to create that little thing you handed out for Halloween, and that looked pretty
That was
good.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be super
That'd be
complicated.
great, look,
Yeah.
insert.
Yeah,
with a
but
schedule.
so, yeah, I was gonna try to fill
With
it
a
up.
bookmark type
Huh?
of thing?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a bookmark.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would do a bookmark type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insert.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe if we can ask how much it costs to print out something like that, if it's like a little bit better quality paper for than just.
Well, they
printed
can
paper.
actually, well, they, you know,
Make it a little
I think
thicker or
the reason why we didn't print with Minuteman was because they didn't have the glossy stuff, but I'm sure they have other paper that we could print on, and it's all
Yeah.
free.
Yeah, a little thicker, yeah.
It's all free. We just chose not to print the pamphlets there because they weren't cost, that's
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
should-
so
I'm
maybe
sure
we do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's something to think about over the next few days, and maybe
It's to
that,
think about, but we need to figure out, we're really gonna do a schedule, we need to figure out what we wanna put on there. That in itself will be an exercise.
well, so I know that, I think,
Because I don't think putting
that-
the
that-
bookmark thing together is gonna be terribly hard.
no, that open studio thing though, I think is a really good kind of like, you know, like an event. Like
Yeah.
events in Bolton. And
Yeah.
actually, the other one, now that I think about it, is the Bolton 5K is happening this year too.
I
So
think
maybe,
there's a lot of things that we can include on that, like we should talk to Bruce later on his like schedule for different.
Yeah.
Music
Yep.
venues.
Music
so-
venues, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
and we should talk to the winery then, to see what.
Yeah, they
events
have tons
have.
of stuff that they do.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we
Yeah.
can include
Yeah.
on there.
yeah, so it's like a reason, so if you come in like, oh, let's go, you know, early September, let's go, you know, pick whatever and
Right.
check out the wine, and then, you know, they were saying that, I would go there every weekend with a stack of these things, like, we used them all up in like 2 hours. Every other person who came to register, like, we wanted to go to Jay's, but it's like booked out for weeks, you know, is there, you know, any other restaurants? Like, and they're like, oh, here's this brochure, and here's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, here's the International, and here's Fortini's, and,
Yeah.
you know, here's the Bolton Bean, and, you know.
Once we have that list, we should put it on the website too,
Yeah, that would,
or
yeah,
Facebook. and-
yeah, the events, yeah, perfect, yeah. Then we just have to learn how to do that, or gain access and know how to do it.
That becomes a full-time job, just managing the events. We need our week, yeah, it could be a lot of events that we're managing all at once, or are we gonna be more selective with those events?
Yeah, no, but, so, I guess
I think the
I guess we
idea
need to
is
find
there.
out, and that might be easier to print out, so our budget goes to June 30th?
It has to be major events, because,
Yeah.
I mean, we could do like a calendar
That's what
that.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
What was
That's
that?
true, that's true, I mean, we could be like,
like
for 3
summer
months.
events, this is
Yeah,
what's going
yeah.
on in the summer, and
Yeah.
then we can look to the
So we,
fall.
so I was thinking just as an insert to the brochure, but it could just be a stack of things that you could, it doesn't have to be in the brochure, you could just put it at the ATM and put it at,
Well, yeah,
I
that's-
almost
that's-
think it should be separate from the brochure, because
Yeah.
we're only updating the brochure once a year, we could
we
potentially
could do
update
these
this on
every
quarterly.
month.
Well, I would think quarterly, I think
Yeah,
every quarter
quarterly,
is really,
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah. It's like, come on
really
here.
aggressive.
Eric would be really busy dropping them off everywhere, because he would've let me help him this summer with them.
Well, No, yeah, I mean, I did him,
You hit them all, you got them all out,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think, so this year we probably wanna print more.
I mean, I know the
yeah,
newspaper does
so I think
that
that's
to some
good, but I
extent,
would
too,
like it
but-
more of like, if we could make it the size that could be inserted, because it would be nice to have it in the brochure as like an added thing,
Well, maybe we do that for that particular quarter.
or whatever.
Or, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
as
maybe
an
it's
insert.
just a flyer.
Yeah.
That can be folded inside it or something. I
That's
don't know.
fine, whatever, either way.
A whole flyer like this, that's gonna be like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
year to do a minute, man.
No, but my thought is,
That's why I bookmark.
my thought is,
Yeah, I can get that done in
yeah, my
5
thought
months.
is just you have the.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it's a flyer, even like if I had time, I can do it, it doesn't have to
Well,
be.
yeah,
printed.
true.
We can do a flyer, definitely.
print it for
The
us.
idea of having the events is perfect, so we should do a flyer, but also I think we should also have an insert to those brochures, because those brochures really hit out of town people really well, but, you know, you do multiple avenues for sure. So I think that's a good idea. And so it's March, you know, we should get it done over the next couple months.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna need your help on that.
So let's, you
Yeah,
know, piece.
we'll figure it out.
So we got 5K, the art open studio,
Yep.
and then, you know, Bruce wants to advertise, you know,
Maybe one of his bands.
yeah, or something, yeah,
Yeah.
bands or, yeah. So, yeah, maybe I'll divide it up over the next month or two, you know, get people doing stuff. And now that Chris is here, so I think that's it for the pamphlet, you know, so for the pamphlet, we do have to print before, for the brochure, we have to print before June, so we hit this
Yeah, yeah.
cycle.
And I think a lot of, I think the changes will probably be able to turn around.
So you and I, so I think all we came up with was Still River. Is the
I just feel like we're
addition.
missing, I think there's something else that we're missing in there. For some reason, I think, well, provisions, but is that a destination or? It's food.
Yeah, Pole
Yeah.
Hill, what do you mean provision? Pole Hill provision?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
food, it's antiques.
Is it antiques?
Yeah.
I thought it was food. Why did I think it was the food?
You know what?
I don't know why I thought it was.
You know what, because they always put on their Facebook page, like, they have like lots of tables and plateware.
Okay.
So that's probably why you thought
Okay,
that.
probably what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see why you thought that. But yeah, Pole Hill Provisions. Yeah, that'd be good.
What else is there? I think that's it, right?
They're new, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That new, that's kind of like something that, is Dunkin' Donuts on there yet?
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts,
We'll also
yeah.
get that in there, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'll be there by then.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so those three definitely we have to add. Is anything coming off? No, I don't think so.
We had potentially thought about Colonial, but that's staying.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it might
keep
come off
that,
at some
yeah.
point, but they're still around,
Yeah.
so we won't do anything
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, okay, so I guess talk to Maria and get those three. You want to drive that?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
She's gonna be surprised to hear from us, I think. but-
No, I'm happy with the finished product. This is simple, but what was really funny was we were working with her directly the last month and a half because.
Yeah, she just kind of, she took over for her kid.
Yeah, because he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really wasn't. He wasn't. I mean, to change to add like 3 businesses was like a 3-month exercise. It was just ridiculous.
I think because he'd be gone for 2 weeks in classes.
Yeah,
And it was only one person assigned to it.
Yeah, I know.
so, Anyway.
I think there was attention span issues. A teenager. But the finished product was great.
Yeah, the finished product is
Yeah, we're
awesome.
really happy.
And we got a ton of, and when I went to like a Shartner farm, I asked them how it was going, and they said that like a lot of like people don't like to go to a show. It came to like people who used to live in town come to a quieter farm, and they would sit there and look at the map, be like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is here and that's there."
I think the whole idea
was-
of
it was
putting
a-
up the
it was
map
a-
was a really good idea.
It was a very big hit,
Yeah.
so we'll keep printing that out.
I'm glad I was able to execute that for you last year.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris, do you have any update on welcome signs or?
No, I spent some time on the website for the company that provided the other
Okay.
sign. And I spent some time on the business listing. We've only got, there's 4 landscaping companies in Bolton listed there, and I'm not sure they're all still active. We've got
Have
one
we
phone
called
number
any of them
and
just
one
to find
website
out?
address. Pardon me?
Have we called them just to find out? if
No,
they're
I'm
active?
going to call them, but only
Okay.
one phone number.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so just regional.
so we may have to reach out beyond Bolton landscapers.
Yeah, I think while you were upstairs, we kind of hit on, because your idea of having somebody say maintained by whatever, we talked about that in like other towns I know of. They do it for like adopt an island, like a business can like adopt an island and have the same type of sign and like, they, either their people manage the island or something. So I don't know, maybe we don't have to do it this year, but let's see how it works with the welcome sign.
Well, the reason I was doing it landscaping
Yeah.
was because I'm lazy. It's one person to deal with.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, yeah.
Rather,
Yeah.
if Bolton Capital Group says, well,
No,
we'll
no, it
fund
makes
that, then I
sense.
gotta find a landscaper
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah, no,
Sign, so
no.
that's 3.
It'll work perfect. Be good to get it done in the spring, 'cause plantings will probably take better and stuff,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's my plan.
And I think, Rick was saying, I don't know, see how much the Dantonia sign costs, but we could go with something simpler if we need to,
I was just thinking there might be some economy there.
Yeah, yeah, check it out.
Same color, same style, same everything, just
Yeah, definitely check
one
it out.
plank.
Yeah, check it out, see what the cost is and stuff. And then you said you were gonna come up with like a maintenance policy or something, or some type of,
Well, what I'd like to do is find out what everything's gonna cost.
yeah,
And then I'd like to come up with, for this committee, a visual of what it would look like.
yeah,
Once we approve that, then take it to the selectmen, because they have to approve where it's going.
yeah,
I picture it being very, very close to the wall, it's not gonna take a lot of space.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe even something we can remove in the winter.
Yeah, no, the idea was to remove it in the winter,
So it doesn't
put
get,
some caps on the tubes.
yeah,
And
perfect.
in the spring, if it's the same company,
Yeah, That would be perfect.
So they just bring their sign back and
Yeah, perfect.
caps, drop it in,
Perfect.
put in the annuals, move along.
Yeah,
You're done.
Bada bing, bada
Perfect.
boom.
all right, great. Anything else to cover? Are we good? I think we covered everything. Hoping to make it an hour meeting tonight.
That's a first.
Yeah,
Oh
welcome.
my God.
Welcome to,
Welcome to the new meetings.
welcome to Sean and Scott again. You guys don't have to go to the selectmen, but your name will be on the agenda to be approved. And yeah, it'll be great to have you guys. Hopefully it'll be easier to meet quorum. I'm always like scrambling, I'm like, please come.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm gonna text you at 7 and you have to run downstairs.
This is a summary, you'd asked about summary, and it's not on the agenda this week, but you asked for a summary of what the Town Road Strategic Planning Committee is doing.
Oh,
So that's kind of an excerpt from what we gave the selectmen, and
yeah. Did you want to spend a minute or two and talk about it?
I think if people are
Just hand it
psyched to
out.
get out of here,
Yeah, well, I
we
could
can do that next
yeah.
time.
No,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to listen now.
It's up to you. So you guys are like,
Great, thank you.
submitting, or receiving,
Well, it's helpful always to go back to the start. We're a project committee, not a program committee, so this committee has an ongoing life for everyone.
yeah.
We were just set up to do one thing, a project.
Mhm.
And that project was a deliverable for a budget for an engineering study for Main Street and 117. And, there's lots of ways to do that, the way we elected to do it. We were formed in October. We had a deadline of January from the selectmen to get them a number. And that was basically our charge. And kind of what the charge is on that sheet. You guys see it. Oh, you got one? And so the way to get it done quickly and not just pull numbers out of the air was to have an open house. This was the DPW director's idea, the new guy, Joe Lynch. Have an open house, invite engineering firms, tell them it's informal, this is not an RFP, it's just an RFI. We think it's useful for you guys to come to our open house because you'll gain some insight as to what the committee's thinking, what the town's thinking, and the history of what's happened in the past, including the 117 prioritization committee and other things. And it was very well attended and very productive.
So who attends, like, road development?
Like Beta, like companies who do, municipal projects for the state
Okay.
and
Yeah,
town.
okay.
A few of the companies that have already done work for us were there.
Traffic engineers.
Oh, okay, traffic engineer.
And so we had a pretty robust session in the open house or during the open house. And later, as part of a process, they gave us basically informal recommendations. And one of the recommendations that we wanted was a meaningful number about what a study like this would cost. It's a big study, it's difficult, it's a challenging study because we basically want everything. So we want traffic to move better, we want mobility for ADA, bicycle lanes, sidewalks. If you want to ride your horse, you can ride your horse. We want to slow traffic down in some places. And we want to not necessarily speed it up, but get rid of the gridlock
Yeah.
at certain times of day and others. We want to please Bolton businesses so that they can get their employees to daycare in time to pick up their kids
Yeah,
and not have to work somewhere else because they can't. And, we want safe passages. Some kid who's really hungry and runs across 117 to get a pizza
yeah,
from the school. So a lot of these things conflict, right?
yeah, right.
Um,
It's a tough
So it's a tough
task.
study.
Yeah.
What are the priorities though, Chris, in terms of what would be like if you had a dozen things, and I agree with everything you just said, but if you culled it down to like things that, where you probably haven't, right? You're probably just throwing out these
We
ideas.
purposely did not.
Yeah, okay.
We purposely did not prioritize. We purposely
Yeah,
did
you know,
not
public
give them.
safety was
any ideas.
trumping over.
Because you wanted to hear
inconvenience.
what they
That's
suggested.
exactly what we've been doing too much.
Yeah.
Is let's just do this here. This is cheap. We can do this here. We want to know a system-wide approach to this with a schedule. You need to do this first. You can't do this first
And then,
because that's going to mess this up and it's going to make this worse. So the town's going to say each year, it might be over a 10, 15-year period, the town's going to say, we can afford to do this. So we'll know exactly which one to do first, and then next, and then next, and then next. That's part of the study. The other part of the study was how do we educate the public? How much community outreach, what type of community outreach through the whole process? They would help with the community outreach. They would be there as engineers, as specialists, professionals, to answer questions the public might have about any of these steps. It's basically a master plan. Complete streets is different. So there's like three moving parts here. There's complete streets, MMA, and town road strategic planning. Complete streets is covered everything in Bolton, every road, everything. So it's like an umbrella. But it's not as detailed. It's more of a template as to, if you're going to improve this section of road, you have a policy that says we're going to stripe it this way for bikes, we're going to do this, we're going to have this much, this many places, and for 88 people to cross safely. That's been adopted, I think, by the selectmen.
It has.
That's actually embedded in this as well, because we're not looking at Golden Run, but we are looking at feeder roads that come into 117, and all of those issues play into that as well. So the idea was we don't want to have one engineer doing complete streets for us, which we'll get a grant for, and that's pretty much paid, and then a separate engineer who's got to look at all of the same detail and doing the 117 prioritization or the corridor study as well. Two different. So what we'd like to do is just kind of get them linked together just from the perspective of continuity with the engineering. But complete streets can go, it's approved, it's its own separate thing, one's not linked to the other in fashion. So we provided the number to the selectmen, and it was 150,000. That's basically, there were some outliers that we threw out, but basically roughly in the middle to the high middle of what the firms gave us. We got proposals that were up to 9 pages long. They were very thorough.
So now they're not, you wouldn't end up with a detailed design of projects, you would end up with a plan of how to attack the projects.
So it might be something like, okay, here's the 6 to 12 things that you need to do to get Main Street optimized. And they need to come in this order. And there are 3 scenarios for each. Let's say one of the areas is Wattaquatic. We're asking for multiple scenarios of different costs. That'll be part of the study. So it might not be exactly, how deep you have to dig.
So it's like a high-level design of the corridor.
It's a master plan. So
That's
once you do, let's say Wattaquatic is one of the first things that you do, we'll have to, at that point, go to engineering firms and have them quote specifically, put this roundabout in here, or we want to put the bridge in.
Right. So 150,000 is kind of a tough pill to swallow for a plan, but I think it's necessary.
Well, that's what we're finding. It's tough to swallow. And the other thing that's tough to swallow is 150,000. And once we have that plan, what's it going to cost us to implement it?
Right, because if you're not looking at the entire quarter, if you're like, okay, well, we're just going to fix Wattaquatic. So if you do something, but then you don't know how it's affecting everything.
It's
just a Band-Aid.
Can I just ask a question though? So most of the money for street and roads goes from Chapter 90, right? That's state. Chapter 90 money. Most of what...
Grants, I'm not...
Well, the state basically gives municipalities money, and it's based on certain criteria. So, and again, I don't know. You guys have done a lot more work. I know nothing about this. But the reason why I asked the question is because Chapter 90 is driven by certain criteria. Traffic patterns, volume of cars, public safety, those things. And so, I don't know. Again, this is the vast majority of the money that we're going to put into these roads, I would imagine, is going to come from the state, because you don't raise that from the town budget. We just couldn't simply afford it.
Right.
So I'm just asking the question, how does this kind of fit into, and maybe we'll get the answer to that. I'm just curious.
We don't know. There are grants available. There's a new grant available. In fact, Jem from our committee is going to be reaching out to you the next day or so about, is there anything she can do to help? Because we'd sure like to be one of the early ones that get in there and apply for that grant.
It doesn't open until June, so we have time.
So,
The grants that you can get for 150 grand? Or?
yeah, including that, right. So the 150 would actually be 110 because the complete streets is part of that, and we've got that grant money is slam dunk, it's guaranteed. So it brings it down a little bit, but the way we write warrants, I'm not sure how that. So anyway, we're done, and to your point, Mike, we're asking the selectmen, you know, our charge is done, we're basically, here's the deliverable, we gave it to you. If you want us to do something else, let us know.
Yeah, because it's unfair the way they delegate Chapter 90 money, because the town of Hudson gets a disproportionate amount of money relative to Bolton. And there's certain criteria that has to be met to get the Chapter 90 money. It's all of our money, it's state money, it's what we all pay in income tax towards this, gas tax, all the other taxes that are accumulated. And it would be great to be able to capitalize on that, because as a small town, let's say that we decided to do Aquatic, and that was a $3 million project. I don't know, maybe this town says we pay for it ourselves. I'd rather see Chapter 90. I'm just curious as to
If we can use
how this plan, I don't know, it's an unfair question.
To be honest with you, I'm sure the two will align.
It has to.
It has
And
to.
so it's just more for my own edification. than
And
anything.
Joe Lynch is so heavily involved with it.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, that's all.
Okay,
Alright.
motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Nobody else
Alright.
adjourned?
Hey, Chris, that was really informative, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a lot of work, too. Kudos to you.
Yeah.